Alright guys, well welcome back to National Tiger Sanctuary, talking about our big cats that live here on the sanctuary with us. Today we are going to discuss one of the smaller species of big cats, in fact the smallest in the genus Panthera, and that is our leopards. So this is Midnight. What's next? So Midnight is one of the three leopards that lives on the sanctuary with us today, but she is one that typically brings up quite a bit of confusion, because when people come out to see her for the first time, one of the most common names that gets thrown around with a cat that looks like Midnight is to refer to her as the Black Panther. Now, with that name, that's something that is very commonly heard, obviously, in not only talking about big cats, but in entertainment and all of that with the Marvel movie. However, that name really is just a name. It's something that is applied to a number of different species of big cats, and it all revolves around this melanistic characteristic that we see Midnight exhibiting, so that all black characteristic. Leopards do have two very characteristic colorations, one being the all black that we see Midnight, and the other being the yellow with the black rosettes, which you guys will see on videos of Bambi that'll be coming out later this week as we show. It's a characteristic that is a recessive trait within the leopards and can actually be seen in 11 different species of big cats. Most commonly, the one that is confused the most with the leopard is the jaguar, and that's where the most common reference of the black jaguar or Black Panther comes in that most people just can't tell these two cats apart very well, because they do look so similar as far as not only the all black coloration, but their body size, their overall dimensions, and just the way they appear and act. But in reality, like I said, it is purely a name. It's something that we refer to. Now, technically, you could refer to her correctly as a Black Panther in that she is obviously all black, and she does come from that genus Panthera, which is the genus where that name actually originates from. But leopards themselves, these are animals that actually exhibit the highest distribution and the largest natural range of the big cat species. They're found throughout both Africa and Asia. And they exist in a very, very large variety of habitats, anywhere from the sub-Saharan Africa into the tropical forests and mountain ranges. They are an incredibly adaptable animal, not only in their ability to adapt to different habitats, but also in the prey range that they actually will hunt. These are animals that are referred to as a generalist predator. They'll actually hunt anything from the size of large animals, up to 10 times their own body size, down to things like insects. So they will eat a very, very wide range of prey, and what allows them to do that is, again, their overall adaptability, not only in their hunting style, but also the ability for their strength. Now, this is a cat that obviously, living in both Africa and Asia, does coexist with other very, very large predators, your lions, your tigers, and the sort. And because of that, they've adapted into becoming a climbing cat. So this is an animal that does spend a large amount of time in the trees, and that allows them not only to protect themselves, but also to protect their prey. To kind of give you an idea of how strong Midnight is, Midnight can easily pull over 3 times her body weight straight up a tree with her. Now, Midnight, she's right around 100 pounds, so you can imagine she could easily pull me into a tree if she really wanted to. So she is an incredibly, incredibly powerful animal. Leopards are an animal that right now we're seeing issues revolving around not only hunting and poaching of these animals, but mainly habitat destruction and distribution of these animals that we see because they have such a wide range of habitats. People are encroaching in many of them, and unfortunately they're losing their habitat, they're losing space that they naturally occur in, and unfortunately are actually having to live amongst humans very regularly, and we do see them coexisting even within cities because of how adaptable they are. Now, again, that does cause a lot of issues for cats like Midnight. This is a cat that is listed as a vulnerable animal within the IUC Red List, but today she is a very, very healthy cat with us. One of the things that's really cool about Midnight, it's kind of hard to see it right now, especially coming over a camera, but even with the black leopards, they do have their rosettes, just like the yellow leopards do. It's just a lot more difficult to see them because they are all black, like with her fur. Sometimes you get to see them pretty well. We'll post some pictures if we have, or later on this week, to kind of show you guys her rosettes that we have. Well, that see it really well. But Midnight is one of our more playful cats on the sanctuary for sure. Obviously, just like all of them, she does like snacks. But leopards are one of the more interesting big cats there are, just because of how adaptable they actually are, their overall ability to change and occupy a large number of habitats, a large number of prey range and things like that. But if you guys have any questions about Midnight or leopards as a whole, feel free to go ahead and start sending those in. We'll be happy to start answering some of those.
Are we accredited?
So we are a USDA certified facility. We are a facility that in our 20 years of almost 20 years of operation has never received a USDA violation for the work that we do. We are not currently accredited through any of the GFAST or any of those organizations, but we do pride ourselves in the overall quality of life. Our animals never receiving violations from USDA, MDC, or MDA since our operations has begun. Bring Midnight. See if we can get her to come out and see us. Midnight, come on.
How many hours a day do they sleep?
So, big cats, like your domestic house cat, are typically a very lazy animal. In reality, what we would typically refer to that as is being a very energy-conscious animal. These are animals that are active typically as a either nocturnal or crepuscular animal, meaning hunting at dawn and dusk. On our sanctuary, we typically see the majority of our cats showing that crepuscular activity, being active real early in the morning and kind of later in the evening. Now, each cat's a little different. They all have their own personality and activity patterns. But on a day where we're not open, especially right now, we're seeing our cats sleep upwards of 16 to 20 hours a day, depending on how active they feel like being. But each cat is a little different. Midnight is a cat that is very playful. Anytime she sees people, she loves to come out and see them and kind of show off a little bit. So she's a little bit more active than some of the other cats are, but...
Are black panthers and leopards the same animal?
They are the exact same species. So it's that melanistic characteristic, as I said, is something that we see in all subspecies, or the majority of subspecies of leopard. So this is not a specific subspecies of leopard that shows this. It's a recessive genetic trait that will pop up on occasion within these animals. So it is the exact same species, the leopards and the black panthers, technically. See if I can get her attention again here. Midnight. Midnight. Hey, Middies. Midnight. Do you want another snack? There she is.
How old do they get?
So leopards typically in the wild, you're going to see anywhere from early teens, 12, up to 17 to 18 years old. And obviously in the wild, you're seeing a lot more competition, a much higher amount of threats that they run into, even through hunting and things of that nature, competition. In captivity, when you start to eliminate that and you're able to provide a much higher quality of, obviously, a quality medical procedures and care, you can see these cats living easily into their late teens, up into 20s on occasion. So,
what kind of animals do they hunt?
So like I said, they have a very wide range of prey depending on their the habitat that you're seeing them in. Typically, they're going to be going after medium-sized prey range, so your ungulates, like your antelope, things of that nature. But again, they're known to hunt everything from primates, even small gorillas, up to giraffes, down to insects and crabs and fish. They are excellent swimmers, and so they do actually utilize the waterways pretty frequently and will hunt aquatic species as well.
Are leopards social or solitary animals?
Like most big cats, leopards are a solitary organism. Typically, they too, like we are occurring right now, they will practice social distancing, essentially, where they typically have within a half to a mile in between each leopard at minimum. During mating season is when you do see these animals coexisting together, and obviously, she's going to show off a little bit for us here. And obviously, when they do have cubs, mom will raise their cubs even after weaning for several years.
What's she playing with?
So Midnight's got a box and some colored paper. Again, enrichment is a really important part of these animals' lives in captivity, and so we do quite a bit of enrichment with our cats. There's likely some scent in that enrichment box, something such as a spice, cinnamon, oregano. Different colognes can really attract these animals. But Midnight really likes her physical enrichment, so she's got a box today that she's kind of playing with.
How many leopards are still in the wild, and where do they usually live?
So I would actually have to go in and look exactly what the population numbers are. They are known as one of the more of the big cat species to have one of the higher populations that we see, but they are existing throughout both Africa and Asia right now. Obviously, you're seeing a decrease in their overall habitat range right now, typically down in the sub-Saharan Africa and up into the tropical forest within Asia is where you're typically seeing these animals exist.
And if we have any more questions about leopards. We don't know if you can see it on the video, but on her underside, it's a lot easier to see her rosettes when the sun hits it.
Shows your belly.
Do the black leopards get overheated compared to standard ones? If so, what do they do about it?
So again, obviously with that black coloration, the sun is going to be much more attracted to their fur. With these cats, again, naturally they are going to be occupying, or their natural activity pattern is going to be that crepuscular time at dawn and dusk and nocturnal at night. So they're not really incurring the sun a lot. Obviously during the day, like most big cat species, they are trying to find a cool shaded area where they're kind of hanging out and taking a nap throughout the afternoon. Again, with leopards, that's typically going to be in a tree to help protect themselves and kind of give themselves a little bit of space between other animals. But with Midnight, what we'll typically see is when she is a little bit hot, Liz will pan up. She does have her big catwalk up above our head because she is a climbing cat. We do like to make sure that she has lots of three-dimensional space that she can get up into, and so she'll usually go up there when it's hot to get a little breeze.
What is Midnight's background?
So Midnight, unfortunately, was a privately owned cat prior to arrival to the sanctuary. Obviously, with Midnight, with all big cats, they are very cute and cuddly as cubs, and as the realization once she becomes a fully sized leopard, really realizing that they're not really a pet, we were able to bring Midnight in and give her a forever home. There's a little bit of transition period with Midnight. Again, sometimes it can be a harder experience to come and meet a lot of new people and have to incur some a different environment and different habitats. But Midnight today, even though when she started was a little bit hesitant with people, is probably one of our most social animals on the sanctuary.
How many leopards do we have?
So we have 3 leopards on the sanctuary. We have 2 black leopards and 1 the yellow spotted leopard. And we will have some videos out of Bambi later. Bambi is a pretty particular cat, and if it's not the perfect weather conditions, she doesn't like to show off for anybody. But we do have some good videos of her that we will share with you guys.
Do they have any predators that hunt them?
There are quite a few predators for leopards. Again, when they're small, there's going to be a lot more, obviously. You're going to see everything from primates up to other big cats, other large carnivores that live in the wild that they coexist with. But even as they become full size, obviously coexisting with lions, tigers, African dogs, other big carnivores, they are a threat to not only threat themselves, but also to lose their prey. When they take down a prey item, it is very easy for a pride of lionesses to come through and take that from them. So to guard themselves, that is one of the reasons they evolved that ability to climb as a protection method, but also to help protect their prey.
How much do they eat in a day?
So again, each cat's a little different. Midnight today eats 3 pounds of food. So again, with these cats, they are naturally going to be consuming much higher volumes of food in a spaced out period, anywhere 5 to 10 days. Obviously, with her being a smaller cat and being that opportunist, she is typically going to be hunting anything she can get her hands on sometimes. With our cats, we do have to keep very close eye on weight, body condition. Midnight has been spayed, and so one of the issues we typically see with cats that have been spayed is they will gain weight very easily. So though 3 pounds may not seem like much for a 100-pound cat, that is what we have identified for Midnight to be a healthy amount of food on a daily basis.
Someone asked, do our cats have babies?
So we are a non-breeding organization. We practice, we are pure rescue, so our animals come in from areas where they are already in need of homes, already born and raised in captivity. We have had lions that have been born on the sanctuary through an unfortunate situation where a vasectomy that we performed on one of our male lions was unsuccessful, and he was able to breed with our 2 females. But most of our animals, like I said, do live solitary, or do live in their own habitat, so they are not involved with the other gender. And when they do live with the other gender, we are taking precautions to ensure that they are not breeding. But we do not actively breed cats.
Who is the other black leopard?
So the other black leopard on the sanctuary is named Lori. Lori is another cat that did come from private ownership. Now, unfortunately, Lori's not the most social cat in the world, so she is actually not on our main tour route. That's something we really focus on, is if cats have any kind of issue with people, have any kind of that being around lots of people could cause them any stress, we do provide them with their own habitat where they're away from people. They can kind of live their own life and not really have to deal with the public as much. But she is a very, very healthy female. She's just sometimes a little more cranky than other cats are.
Are you having trouble getting meat for them currently, given that people are stockpiling?
So fortunately with us, obviously, we do work with lots of different organizations that help fund our organization through donations of meat in different routes. We right now have about 9 months worth of food in cold storage. So fortunately, we do have a large backstock of food to ensure that we will never run out of food for these guys. So fortunately, we are not in any kind of risk of running out of food for them at this point.
Why are their tails so long?
So the tail is an excellent utilization. Again, being a climbing cat, it provides a lot of balance for this animal. When she's climbing, it's going to basically kind of almost be like a counterweight for her, so she keeps that balance really, really well.
So we're gonna wrap it up.
Alrighty. All right, guys. Well, we would like to thank you again for coming out or joining us again on Facebook and following our page and liking our videos. Again, continue to tune back in every Monday. We will be continuing these series with the different animals that reside on our sanctuary. Next week, we are going to be talking about one of the natives to North America, which is our cougar. Depending on where you come from, there are a lot of names, as we will discuss. But Midnight would like to thank you guys for joining and coming out to hang out with her today. Again, continue asking questions, continue sharing, liking, and following our different social media outlets, and we'll be happy to continue providing you guys with entertainment during this period.